Alright, in this clip, let's have a look to the different edit tools we have on the left of our screen. We'll start with the model settings. The first one here is to set the scene orientation. And right now, I'm pretty happy with my scene orientation. But if I want to change it, I can use these buttons to change my scene orientation. I can use as well this option to pick one of the faces, and it will just set the orientation of my scene according to the normal of this face. There we go. If I'm happy, I can click on apply. I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to click on close and come back here and fit to view. There we go. The second option here is to set the scale and the units. And you can see that my box is displayed around my object. I can move around to see a little bit better here. And now I can set values for the size of this box. So keep in mind that the Z here is the vertical one. In some softwares like Maya, this will be the Y. And so if I want, for example, my model here to be 1 meter tall, I can totally come here, select meters, and enter one right here. And I will set. And I will simply set the values. If I want to display these values, I can come back in option and right here, select the box here to display my values. So these options could be really important if you plan to 3D print your object. You will be able to set up the scale that way. The last option here will be to set the coordinate system, but this option is not available in the free version of Remake. Otherwise, you will have been able to set the Z, Y, and X of your model. This is not a big deal. We are going to be able to do it later in Nuke. Or you can do it as well in Maya or 3ds Max or any kind of CG software you'd like. Okay, down there we do have the edit tools. We already saw in a previous clip the slice and fill tool. We used it to crop our scene. Now let's have a look to the surface tool. The surface tool will allow you to sculpt or smooth your object. So if I look at here, for example, you can see that I'm moving my faces according to my brush right here. So I can change the size of the brush, the strength of my sculpt, and if I want to pull or push, for example, here I'm pushing. I can use as well the smooth mode, and now I can smooth my mesh. As well, I can adjust the strength and the brush size. Okay, let's close that and simply undo my sculpt and smooth. Next, in the edit menu, we have the delete selection tool. So first I will need to select a part of my model. So for example, right here. And with that button, I can delete those faces. One more time, I want to undo because I don't want to delete those faces. Okay, now I have the fill holes. So the fill holes could be pretty useful. For example, this could be useful if you want to 3D print your objects because you don't want to have any hole like we have here, for instance, under our model. So basically, you just select that tool and you will select the edge around your hole and click on flat or smooth, depending if you want to fill it with the flat surface or with the smooth surface. And that's it, the hole is filled. So this is it for this tool, so I can close it now. And the next tool will be the boundary tool. And this tool will help me to smooth my mesh around the holes. So let's have a look, for example, to that hole right here. If I select the faces around there, it will just smooth all the faces around that hole here. Okay, next tool will be the bridge gaps tool. And it's a little bit like the fill hole, but manually. So for example, I could select two faces here. And with this option, I could create as well a bridge between these two faces. For example, I click on flat. I'm creating a flat bridge between these two faces. So that could be really useful to patch manually some small holes. Now, the last tool of the edit menu is the extrude tool. And this tool is as well made to work with hole. So I can click here and select a boundary. And now I will set a distance here and simply click on extrude. And that will kind of create an extrusion field as well. So I will undo that, and now I will go real quick over the retopologize option, which allows you to re-triangulate selection, to subdivide selection, or to decimate mesh if you want to adjust the amount of polygons. And here you can analyze, and for example you can detect and fix model issues automatically. So for example, that guy will, for example, detect the holes. See, it detects them. So you can simply fill all holes. And there we go. And we have here as well a measurement tool which allows you to measure 2 points. And as well, the mesh reports will give you all the information about your mesh. And finally, a way to compare two models. Unfortunately, this option is not available in the free version of Remake. So this is it for the edit tools, and as you can see, you don't have many options. So these tools are great for a quick fix. However, if you really need to modify your object, I recommend you to export it and open it in the proper modeling software. We will see in the next clip how to export our object.